Hi, Billy the Artist here with another How to Draw Harry Potter, but today is the start of something a little bit different. We're going to do the crests. So today it's Hogwarts House Crest, and then we're going to do the House Crest as well, but these are just to do with a felt tip pen. I'll put the outline down with a pencil, but just draw over. It's just something a little bit easier than these more complex portraits. Like I say, check out the full Harry Potter How to Draw Harry Potter playlist, and that's where I'll be adding all the Harry Potter characters and theme stuff. There is also, we have from Fantastic Beasts, there's not only Newt Scamander, but there are others, but there's also Dobby as well in there. So do check those out, share them with your Harry Potter friends to do your doodling, and do check out Harry, Ron and Hermione. But today we are doing the Hogwarts House Crest. So we've got the grid here on the paper. I'm more than just dividing it into quarters. We've got this extra grid. It kind of makes it a little bit easier to put your reference lines. Mine are quite dark. The dimensions are in the bar across the bottom of the screen. How to line everything up. It's A4 paper, 210mm across the top, 297 down the side, and I've put the dimensions for where you need to put the lines. So we can then crack on. Remember, I've put these on very, very darkly. You don't have to do that. You can do it lighter, especially for the portraits, because you don't want to then rub out. But this is so that you can see, and you can see these lights on this white paper. But we're going to use boxes. How to draw anything. Part 1 shows you using simple shapes, and we're going to do the Hogwarts crest. So in the centre of the crest, we've got a rectangle that the H lives in. So I am going to do that rectangle quite lightly, and then what we need, we've got the centre line that goes, so in the centre we can just put a H, literally just put a capital H, and then just do that across. Yep, so that's about thirds, and we can build that up in a moment. So a little long thin rectangle for the H, and we can put the little serifs on the top of the H in a bit. But you've then got this line that's coming out to the side, and you've also got the line, it is a dead on the centre line, the centre of the crest, but we've got the bottom of the crest that comes down to here. So now you can see we've got a nice simple shape, which is like a triangle. And again, if you replicate that on this side, you've got this little kick out that comes, but we're going to put a little rectangle. You can see how it comes across there. You might hear the birds chirping in the background. They're all nesting around the house at the moment, so that's kind of quite good. And you've got a little rectangle shape there for the edge of the crest, because it's got this kick-off bit that the Badger of Hufflepuff, his paws come out into, and we can then, to that point, so you're using that section there to create that triangle for that bottom part. Now again, this top part, you've already got a square that's built in there, so I'm going to come all from the centre. You've got a V, a nice simple V, and then we can do a triangle. You can use that part there. You can see you've got a triangle, so you go out to the top and then down, and then a little rectangle on the edge. That's where the scroll goes over, and then you replicate it on this side, and you've got the triangle coming down, and then we want that little rectangle, and then another little box on the end for where the flourishes of the scroll as it kicks out, and you've got the very, very end of the scroll that ticks round, and we'll curve that round in a moment quite easily. Now if you follow the double up the lines on the inside of the crest, you've then got, just outside of the centre line as well, you've then got that gutter that goes round. Now we need to curve the outside, but we'll do all of that in a bit. We now need to finish off. You've got a connection line from that point to that point at the top on that box, and that's the curve of the scroll going up on the side of the shield. And then you've got the same there. Now we've got these spaces inside for Gryffindor's lion, Slytherin's snake, Ravenclaw's raven, and Hufflepuff's badger. So we'll put those in a moment, but we're going to put in this banner at the bottom. So if we just put a long rectangle in for now, so there's a rectangle to guide, and you can see how I've used the lines to actually build that in. And the same on this side, so you've got the mirrored one going up. Now that's going to come up to just underneath the edge of the crest where Hufflepuff Badger's foot is. And then we finish the rectangle off. Now we just got a smile like a big U coming down, but we're going to do a second box, little triangle there. You could do a rectangle if you wanted. Imagine, so from that corner to behind there, you've got the tape, there's the banner tape that goes around. We can just make a little triangle. So here off this one, you've got another little triangle there. And then, so you imagine the top of the banner behind the front there. You can see how it comes out in the middle. And we've got a smile that just comes around. So I'm just doing a curve. You could do a box if you wanted, a rectangle, each way, and then do a curve. But then coming right through this corner point and just underneath this corner point as well, you've got the same. So coming from the edges, and just keep the gap about the same. And you can see there how we've got the line underneath. Now I'm using a 2B pencil just to do this outline, and I'm going to fill it in with a felt tip pen, just a black felt tip pen like this. And this is the plate from inside the first book, the Philosopher's Stone. So now what we need to do is put in the Gryffindor lion. So what I'm going to do is here I'm going to put a box for where the top of his head is, and there's a little rectangle, and then the bottom of his leg coming down, and then another rectangle for the bottom of his foot. Coming over to the top of the H, I've got another rectangle which is his right claw, and his body goes behind there, and he's got a little claw that goes there, and his tail is just a squiggle that goes down. So you can see that's a bit of a circle, and then that comes down and joins on his bottom at the back. Now, Slytherin's snake, we've got a triangle there for the head, and I'm going to do rectangles as you can see down here. So I've done a little rectangle out, so you've got a bit of an arrow going on there, and then rectangle coming down there, which is coming down the back, and then coming down to the H. So I'm going to do another long rectangle, and then matching the same kind of line, you've got another rectangle there. Now I'm going to do the final end of his tail, a little triangle, and now you can see how there's a rectangle, and one coming up off his tail, going off there, coming down and under behind the back of the triangle. Now that's a square snake, but when we do the outline in a moment, you will see how you just use those rectangles and then just curve the pen line around it. Now his tongue is, I'm just going to do a triangle and then do a V inside, and that's how you can do the forked tongue. So again, that's quite small on screen, but just think, a little triangle coming out of the edge of his mouth, and that's Slytherin's snake. Now Ravenclaw, here we have a long rectangle for his neck and head. Could be a lady, Rowena Ravenclaw, so it could be a ladybird. Now the body is a bit wider, so it's a bit of a wider rectangle coming down, and then the tail, I'm doing a little triangle. The claw comes over, so I've put a little rectangle in for the claw that comes over. Oh, you can see there that like this side, it does kick off. So I've just extended that bit to kind of match that side. How you've got that little bit that sticks out where the badger's foot is. Now, we've put his claw in, and so we need a little triangle for that leg, a triangle for the right leg, and then the claw comes out right down the bottom. So I've just put 2 lines coming down to where the centre point is. And it's a bit like a little 5-pointed star, but you've got one going off horizontally, one going up at the top, one coming down to the bottom, and they've got little triangles for claws at the end, and we can build that up with the pen. And then his back claw comes off, little triangle at the end. Now, the badger. This is the badger. So, the badger's head is a long rectangle. Then his neck coming down, we do another rectangle. The bulk of his body, you can see, fits in there. His left paw, I've got a rectangle going there. His right paw is just a little rectangle going up. And then bottom of his leg, bit of a triangle, one behind, and then his bottom is a triangle going off. Now that's a very cubist, quick outline gone down using the grid guidelines to set everything up so that you can then add the pencil line. Now you can go over with pencil and do it quite quickly, but when you've got those guidelines, you can do the same. You can actually put the letters in, or you can just go straight in with a pen. So I'm going to go here where the C crosses. So I'm going to put the pencil line in first of the letters, and you've got the O on the line, and then the A is just like a point. I say you're just drawing, you are literally drawing letters. And so you've got Draco. All of Dormian's is underneath here, and so it doesn't matter if you start in the middle. So you've got the M, which is kind of right in the middle, and then you've got the I and the E, and it's all inside where the banner is, the N and the S, and then you want the R just goes over that guideline, the O and the D. Then you've got the N just inside, and the guidelines help you get everything spaced well. The U, the N, Q, you can see is about halfway, and then you've got the U, and then the A, and then the M goes behind the banner as it comes in front. So you know that that's going to go over the top, and then so that's Nunquam, and then you've got Titilandus. Now, because not many people know any ancient Latin people, we aren't totally sure. It's a bit like Greek as well. No one really knows on the pronunciations, absolutely, because we have no recordings. So I've got the owl. So I'm just going to rub that out because that wasn't far enough over. So you can see the I is on the line, and the top of the owl is on the guideline as well. And your I is just pushed over a little bit. And so I need to increase that. A, N, D, U, and I keep putting the edge on, but it's not, it's just a curve, and the S right at the end. Draco Dormian Nunquam Titilandus. Never tickle a sleeping dragon. That's the Hogwarts crest motto. So now we've got all these shapes. Oh no, we haven't. I have missed off a Ravenclaw's wings. So what we need here is a triangle for that right wing and just a little rectangle where that goes off underneath. So now we've got basic shapes all down, guiding you where you need to go. So now I'm going to use just a marker pen and I'm going to go round and fill in the outline and work my way in. So, and this is quite a thick pen, and kind of use the curve of your hand to follow the curve. So even though you've got a straight line, these are slightly curved. And so that's quite a thick line. Now, that curves around, and then you've got the inside line. You can see that's starting to take shape. Now, where the scroll goes over on the end, what we need to do is draw the line down to the edge, and you've got this rectangle for the scroll, and you can see how it all curves around. And so right from the edge, you've got the top point, and you stay inside this box, and we can curve it right the way over. So that's like the edge of a P, and then we can curve it down, touch the guideline, and go out to the corner of that box. And then you can do the edge, and we can now follow that curve down all the way to this point, and it's just slightly curved all the way down. To the end. Now we can do to the centre line. So if we do the horizontal centre lines, you can see how they appear there. And you can use a finer felt tip pen if you want. So now I'm following the edge of the shield, coming down, touching the centre line, going all the way down to the bottom, and just a slight outward curve to the edge down there. And we've got Ravenclaw's foot. So what we're going to do is little triangle for a toe. You've got the little rectangle where his foot is, and where the toes creep over the top, there's the claw on the end, and there's 3 claws, and there's the top of the claw, and then that goes up to the body, and then you've got the next toe and then the last toe, and then you can put the line underneath coming down. But you've also got these claws here, so little triangle on the end, and because you've got the guidelines, you can work around your drawing as much as you want. Top part of the claw. So now you can follow that line, and because it's organic, it's not a straight line, you can just bulb out. You know, you can see how that, where the edge of the claw comes to the talon, it's a little bit wider. And now it's ankle going up to the body, and now we can do the rest of the crest coming down underneath that claw, and it just curves down to this point right at the bottom, underneath the talons, down to the V right at the bottom. So again, on this side you've got a slight curve coming out, and then it curves in going down to the V. Now you've got the box coming out to the corner like on that side, and then we can do the same. So right from this cross point on the guidelines, you've got a nice curve coming all the way down. Now you can just curve that out right the way, and that's an S. So it mirrors that side, but it's just like an S going the opposite direction. So now you can see you've got the S and it comes right the way to the end. So now you can draw the edge of the crest coming all the way down past the badger's foot, his left foot, and you got his right foot down here, and we can now do the edge of the crest inside underneath Ravenclaw. You can see how you're using the guidelines that you've put down to actually build the shape up completely. Now just join the top of the crest up, and we need to do that inside line inside the V at the top to section off Gryffindor. Now we can finish off this edge piece. So now we've got a slight line following that round, and then you've got the scroll as it returns around the back. Join up the scroll there. We've missed this bit. And we need to do the edge of the scroll on that side just to match those up. So there's the outside of the crest all done. Now we've got the badger's head coming on over the head, top of the H here, and a bit of the Ravenclaw. So we'll do the box at the end. We're now going to add some of the creatures. So you've got the triangle. We'll start with Slytherin Snake. So you've got the triangle at the top for his head and his tongue where you got that V. So where the V is, I'm just doing a little bit of a curve. So it's a bit like a C, and the same going out there, and then you just do the V inside, and there you've got his forked tongue. Then from the top you just do nice curves like a pear shape, an elongated pear, and then you can, there's his eye, and then draw the line back for his mouth. Now you've got these rectangles that we've put in, so it's a jagged S, but we need a nice smooth, it's a reversed S, so you need a nice smooth curve going inside, and I'm just going to follow that round but curve and not follow the straight lines, and then curve it back. Now again, the same with, and you can see that now we've got that S. Now I'm going to work reversed, or the reversed S. I'm going to go from the tail back. So we've got the little triangle again. You can follow the lines, but just curve them slightly. Now we can just go in a circle and go behind the back, and then the inside line, the same thing, behind the back of the point of the end of his tail. And then the curve comes up and goes over that, comes down and joins the edge of the H box, and then we can push that curve up, and there's the snake, there's the S of the snake. So we can now do Gryffindor's claws. He's got a couple of claws on there, and he's got this arm, but it's a bit straggly, you know, because he's a big hairy shaggy lion with a big mane, and so the fur off his leg is just, so you can just do wobbly lines, and that kind of looks nice. And then you've got the top over the claw, and then going up the front of his paw, and then you've got this big box where his head is. So where the line is here, you can put the line in. So you just got a little line and a little circle underneath for his eye, and then a flick for his hair, and again the same little kind of triangle Now you follow the top of the line and you come to a point, so you just follow the line, little point, flick back in, another line, little point, flick back in. Now his mane comes right out to the back where you've got the guideline, and so you've just got a triangle that you're going to draw. So there's the point of a triangle. Now the mane coming down the back, point down, push his hair back in, and then you've got his tail here. So if we just do a little point and then a bigger point underneath, and then bring the curve round and follow that inside, that's how you can get his tail coming down to where it joins on his bum at the back. Now here we've got another little line coming in, hair going up, and you can just do these little V's coming right down to his kind of beard underneath his jaw, and then you've got a box, that's his mouth open, and you come down and you've got another rectangle at the front, but just do a curve over for his nose and then go up to his forehead and join on the top, and there you've got his mouth. Now I'm using quite a thick pen. If you used a finer one, I've just put his tongue in, which is just a long rectangle, and you can indicate teeth. If you use a finer pen, you can obviously get much nicer detail, like in the drawing. But I'm doing this so that you can actually see this and replicate it as easily as possible. So now we'll do another little flick down of hair over his back and join up his back inside that rectangle. Now here we've got these boxes for his right leg. So I'm just indicating his talons at the bottom, inside the bottom box. And then he's got fluffy fur at the back of his right leg. And you can follow that line up and then connect a curve up for his bum. Now you've got like a pointed D or a P where this leg, so you've got it down coming down. It's not a curve and it's not a sharp pointed V, so it's a V but with a bend on it really. And again, you can just follow the leg down, follow the lines that you've put, and then you come down and then you can just wiggle the line a little bit for the hair. And so here now we can bring out behind his claw the box for the H of Hogwarts and bring that down. And I'll do this going over to behind the slithering snake and come down to the centre line, but we won't go too far because there's a beak that's going to come across, and the same we've got the badges, so we won't disturb that. But it means we can now put Godric Gryffindor Lion's tummy in, and then he's got his left claw over here, paw and his hand, chest coming down, and then you've just filled that bit in quite nice and simply. Now again, here we've got a little C, and this is the left leg coming down to his claw, his left foot. Again, I've wiggled the hair at the bottom, and his ankle going up and joining it behind. Now we're going to go over and do Ravenclaw. So we're going to do the beak of Rowena Ravenclaw's raven. And so you got the little rectangle, and you know that it's going to stay in. So you got the top of the beak going over, and then the bottom of the beak is inside a little bit, and you can fill all that in with black. Now you've got this long rectangle for the head. Again, it's feathers, so it's just kind of woggly, it's not straight lines. And just a little bend there, going for the neck, and then the feathers coming out. Now I need to just indicate the eye. big dot for the eye going on there, and you come down to the centre line, and we've got the edge of the right wing coming round, and the wing goes behind the H. So I'm going to bring the box down now, touch the top of the beak, come right the way down, and this is dead on the centre guideline, and we can go right the way across and then just up a little bit, but we've got to put the badger's snout on so we won't disrupt that, and the H will go on at the end. So now we've got lots of kind of little V's that are going to make up the wings, lots of points. So there's an upturn V, another one joining on the end, another one there, then we've got a third and a fourth coming down, and then they're like leaves. If you think of little leaves that you can see, the points of leaves. Now from this top you've got like the edge of a P without the back on, and that brings the arm down, and we can arm the wing down, put the shoulder on, and now we've got a couple of little leaves inside, and then that's like an M, and then we've got another like a W really, curving round and going under, and then another little W coming down to the body. We can bring that leg, side of the body down to the left leg, and we can just curve that out, so you've just got this long shape inside that triangle. And I'm just with a W there indicating that leg, the feathers inside that leg, and again the same at the back. Now the tail coming down, you've got that triangle, so just done a little W there, but it's a very square edged one, point at the end, point at the end, and again the same, you've got two little points going up. As I say, I'm using quite a thick pen so that you can just see these lines going down quite quickly, and you can use a thinner one and get much finer detail if you want. Now here we have like a C with a sharp point coming down, and that's the right leg, and then a couple of W's again. So here we've got a V, another V, and then a line going off, and then another couple of W's for the feathers. You can put the centre line up of the feather going up as well. Now down the chest, so right in the centre here, just do a U, line in the middle and flick off, another U, line flicking off, and that's how you can indicate the feathers going down on Ravenclaw's chest. So now finally we got the right wing going up under behind the H, we got a W and then a U, put the line in the middle. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 little V's, so V, 2, 3, 4, and that's Ravenclaw's wing. You can see how it's all just filling up. Now there's some little feather lines, just little down the neck, and I haven't put any of the other lines on these guys up here. I might use a slightly thinner pen in a bit just to add those extra detail lines. But now we're on to the badger, Helga Hufflepuff's badger. So at the top of the box we just want a little curve for the ear, this rectangle at the top. Nose comes right the way in, so if we just do a little shape for the nose, and you've got the forehead inside the top of this rectangle, and his eye comes in line with the box of the H, and so you can draw that line up and then bring the line down and join the edge of his nose. His eye, well, it could be a her, being Helga Hufflepuff, and you've got the ear at the back. Now we need to bring the bottom of his snout under her snout, the badger's snout, and curve the line down. but the eye you can see is in line with the ear and Gryffindor lion's left foot. So put another black mark on for the eye. Now the cross hatching, I'm going to very, very lightly fill in the badger's stripe right the way up to the ear and that ear as well. And that way you've got the actual shape and tone of the Hufflepuff badger. So now we're going to come down to the back and it comes under and curves down. So just slight curves, follow the line of the rectangles that you've made, but curve it out. And then it comes down to a little stubby tail and that points in, and then you've got this lovely stocky foot, 3 little claw points at the bottom. Curve the line down the back of the foot. Then you've got the left front arm and claw, front leg, and that curves round and joins on the front and curves up. Now the badger's tummy comes down below these 2 leg points, but curve it, and then you've just got the back claw which goes behind there and a little bit of shadow. So now we can curve from the front claw inside the guy line and join up to the ear up here, and that's just like a C. If you think of that C shape, so you're going to do a big C going all the way around, but you just want this end part here. So there you go, and the line you can see will go and join the tummy line underneath, and then we've got the right claw just underneath with some points, and then to the underneath of the paw. Now we've got the H of Hogwarts, nice and simple. Like I say, we just put that in nice and easily at the beginning, and I'm just going to do the centre lines. Now the serifs, just do lines, long lines over the top first so that they kind of match up, and then you just do a little diagonal line pointing in, and then the back line going down and that edge, and then bring that down, join to the centre, and then all the way down past Ravenclaw's beak, and there you've got your H for Hogwarts. Now we get the banner at the bottom. Now this is going to be quite nice and fun. Now you could do the outline first, but we've got these letters. If you do the outline first, you might miss the letters, but you can then create your outline around the letters if you go over them first with your pen. So I'm doing the T. Again, just little serifs, just putting little end points on. The I. And this is kind of done with a quill pen, as you can imagine, so you can be a little bit free with these. There's the little serifs on the points. The A. The N. Then the D goes round. The U is just a curve. Don't do the edge like I did. And then the S, small at the top, big at the bottom. And then just flick your little serifs on. Now, because I've done that and the M goes behind, I'm going to put the actual banner on around Titilandus. So I've just done the edge and it needs to curve and follow that line up. So I'm going to go and use the curve of my hand inside. When you're drawing outside that, you can make a lot of mistakes easily. Whereas if you use the curve of your hand, so I'm moving up here, you know you've got the point and you can just follow the curve down and join it, and then you've got this C here that goes around. Well, it's like an S really. You can see you've got an S there starting, and that will come round underneath, and then you can do the bit at the back, and you can fill that in with a little bit of shading if you want, because that's behind. Now from here we want this coming down again, and you can just wiggle it and wave it a little bit because it has a banner floating, and then you just got a V. And that way, if you'd have drawn the outside first, you might have blocked and written over your, covered over your letter. If you'd done the outline first, you might not have had enough space for your letters. You might have got it wrong. So again, now I'm left-handed, so I'm working this way. I'm working backwards. So if you're right-handed, you will work across Draco, Dormian's none. You know, you'd go the correct way. But I'm doing it so you can actually see it appear. And the M is behind that, but you've got the edge of the M coming down. And then I've got the A, putting the little serifs on. The U, remember, just do a curve. The Q, N, another U, don't do the line like you would in normal handwriting. The N, the S, bigger at the bottom again, remember. Then you got this N. Now if you really wanted to be adventurous, you could use a quill like Harry Potter as well, and a dip pen. Now I have got a dip pen. I've used them in some of the cartoons I've done in the past, but they are quite difficult to use, but fun if you want to go. The M, the point doesn't come down very far, remember, unlike the N where it goes right the way across. R, and you've got the O, and then you've got the D, and that D crosses over, just goes behind the edge of this one. So you've got the rectangle, but you can see it comes out a little bit past there. So I'm going to write on Draco first. You've got the O, C, a couple of little serifs, the A, the R, and then the D at the end. So again, now I am going to draw out that line, and I've gone past the box and then it curves. Now from the top I'm going to go a little wiggle there, and I'm just going to follow over the top of the letters and join that on there. Little curve line in on a V, and then a curve going off on the edge of the banner, and then this curves down. So here we've got a reverse S, so it's like a curvy Z. And so I'm going to go all the way down and then follow that out and come round. You've got a curve coming all the way down, and then you've got the reverse S, and then join that up behind the back, and you can shade that in, and that's nearly all done. Now following the smile that you drew down, and you just follow that round, and that way you don't try and squash your letters in afterwards. Now, ooh, I've missed a bit. We've got the central line here. That was close. Coming all the way down on the crest. So that, as I said, was quite a thick pen. Now I'm using a slightly thinner one, and you can just add the crosshatch details in. So I'm going up on Slytherin's snake, the lines on his chest, little dots following down, and then a bit of cross hatching on the edge of that, flourish as the crest goes around the back. I'm just following the shape of the lines. Now Slytherin, he's got these little tick marks everywhere. Oh, he's got little dots going up across the top of his head, but then you've got these little tick marks, and you can see roughly where they're placed, and you can whack these in. 3 little lines, like grass, I suppose. Snake in the grass. And you can just put these in where you want. Now you could just use the outline and colour it all in. There's a bit of shadow underneath at the back. Little ticks off the top of the H box. Now that curve, so you got the shadow on the curve lines. So just curve and follow the shape. Little dots at the top of Slytherin Snake's shape of the body is curved. So just follow that with these definition lines that you're putting on. And the same on that tail. And there we go, one underneath. Now, on some part of the feathers, you can put underneath bit just little cross-hatching lines. And that'll give in a little bit more definition on Ravenclaw's feathers. Now I could have used this fine pen for all of the drawing, but I just thought, you can see that really clearly, which is really good. Now the background of Ravenclaw is pretty much all filled in, but if you just do horizontal lines at first, and I'm filling this in really quickly. And you can rub out your pencil construction lines too. And so I'm just putting these horizontal lines in very, very quickly. And there's a few vertical lines dotted about just to add texture and different tonal values and shadow underneath the wings, that kind of thing, underneath the leg there, underneath the claw. Now the H, that's got just little dots, so you can see I'm just literally just putting dots in really quickly. And then the background, it's got longer lines, so I'm very gently dotting the H and then just putting these longer lines in the background of the badge. Now, again, if you just follow the bottom lines and put some cross-hatching in, and then you got a little bit over the top of Gryffindor's head, and it just indicates a little bit of shadow around, just like the snake. Just follow the curve of the leg there at the back and his tummy. And so here now we've got the lines on Gryffindor all follow the same direction as the actual crest as it folds around. So unlike being horizontal there, they follow, and I'm not counting them, I'm just guessing. I'm just filling in. So this is what you can do to be quick rather than super accurate. And in between each one, you've got little lines going the other way, perpendicular, that's 90 degrees, and that creates the shading that gives you those two-tone lines, which would be the gold and burgundy of Gryffindor. Like I say, the grass of Slytherin will be green. So like I say, just remember the colours of the different houses, and you can colour these in yourself with felt tip pens if you want. So we need a little bit of hair on that leg, and that just pulls off. Now again, behind the back, same as on this side, we can have a little bit of cross-hatching for that shadow, and again follow the curve like you did with the snake, and that gives you the shade. That's really starting to come together. So I'm now just adding some more cross-hatching on Helga Hufflepuff's badger. And here we've got a little bit, and down the back, right down to the tail. Again, I'm following the curve and shape of the body inside of that leg. Now the left front paw, and that's got just some lines that go up, and you got a little triangle of line shadow there, and the same going to that point, and then the right claw. Now, nice and easy, like we've got these lines, and we've got the lines that are spaced up in Gryffindor, and we've got the horizontal lines. We've got a grid, so you can at regular spaces draw horizontal lines all the way down on Hufflepuff. And this is going to make up this box grid at the back. And then you go vertically. And you fill in behind Helga Hufflepuff's badger. Now, there's also just some squiggles, and I'm literally, some of them have got dots in. I'm just dotting about and putting a little bit of cross hatching in because it's an old crest that would be on the wall, a shield. So it's got patina and heritage and history and lots of different elements to it that your little cross hatching can add. Now finally, I'm just adding a little bit of cross hatching to that shadow in the back. You've got little bits, and then again follow the curve as that comes round. Just a couple of little knocks on there. Now I missed off, you can see how, because it's like a parchment, you can put like these little V's in. There's a little V underneath the U and the A down there, and it just adds, you know, that kind of old parchment element to it. So again, I'm following the lines for the cross hatching curve around there, and that's the shadow behind it. Now again, I'm following the shape, it's the curve for these little lines showing a little bit of shadow there as I did on that side. Then add those bits. Now that's very, very good. I'm really pleased with that. And I'm now just going to erase out the pencil line, all the construction lines that are inside. And it should clean up quite nicely. And you should be able to read all the words properly. And rather than having a boxy snake, you've got a curvy one. There you go. I'm really happy with that. I hope you are too. I hope you've had fun doing that. You can now colour that in if you want. You can use felt tips, pencil crayons, watercolours, inks, anything you like, or you could just do a pen and ink version. Anyway, I hope that has helped you with basic techniques, and you can do it more detailed if you want, just take a lot more time. But I am really happy with the Hogwarts crest of the 4 houses of Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and that lovely motto of Draco Dormian, Nunquam Titilandus, never tickle a sleeping dragon. Anyway, don't do that, just enjoy your drawing. Like and subscribe, and there'll be more crests soon. Take care, ta-da.